Hi everyone, it's Keren here and welcome back to my channel. I am really excited to show you a new video using the new alcohol pearls by Holtz, and I wanted to use them on top of these alcohol ink hardcore art panels. This is a 4x4 art panel. It's a small one, but it does come in other sizes. I have another one here. This is a 5x7, but I'm not going to be using this one today. I will be using the 4x4 because I want to create these really small gifts for my family. I was thinking of doing something. I have a really nice die that can go on top of this once I make the background. So I wanted to create something really simple backgrounds, but I want to use the alcohol pearls because they're so shimmery and so pearlescent. So I'm going to create 3 different panels, which is what comes in the box. And I have all the alcohol inks right here. I've taken the lids out of all of them. So the alcohol pearls are ready to go, and make sure that when you're using them, you really shake them well so all the pearlescent powder that is in them will come out. Now I'm going to create a few different techniques. Now if you haven't seen my alcohol ink 10 technique video, you can watch that here below. I'll put the link underneath or at the end of this video, or just find it on my channel. I did some other techniques with the alcohol pearls. And for this first one, I'm going to make 3 different panels, and they're going to be different colors. So I'm going to make one with some of the warm colors, some of the colder colors, and maybe some of the earthy colors. So we'll see what comes out. So the first technique that I want to do is just basically cover the background. And I'm going to start with some of the alcohol ink solution just to kind of put it in the background. And then I'm going to do some red, some orange, and some of the yellow pearlescent color. And then I'm going to take my heat tool and blast it on. Now it's a good idea to turn the panel around. That way you get different movements for different directions. Now obviously it didn't cover everything, so I'm going to redo the layer again. I might add a little bit more solution this time, so that way it really mixes well. And maybe some more of the yellow. Some more red over here, and some of the orange here as well. And let's blow it out in the opposite direction here. I'm just going to turn it around, add some yellow here. So you have to go back and forth because obviously not everything is attaching itself. Okay, and now let's try again. Now I'm going to add just a little bit more yellow just to kind of cover the areas where nothing went on, because I like covering my backgrounds. And I'm going to also add a little bit of red. So by doing this with the actual dryer, it creates these really cool movements in all different directions in a very, very cool background. I'm going to heat set this a little bit more, and then I'll go to the next layer. I'm using a different heat tool because I don't want to create those movements. I just want to dry this properly, and I want to diffuse the heat. So for the other one, I use the heat tool just to be able to move them in different directions. But for this one, I want the heat to be diffused so it works better this way. There we go. Now I still have some tacky areas here, so my second technique will be to add some gold foil onto it. So I'm going to take some gold foil and I'm going to slightly rub it on top of this, and the gold will attach itself to anywhere that the tackiness is still there. I love this technique because it looks so beautiful on. Oh my gosh, look at that. So how beautiful is that? So it turned out super, super gorgeous. And I love this so much. Wow, this is really stunning. I still feel some tackiness here, so let's put some kind of at the edges. I think the edges are still tacky, so you can create a kind of a border around it. Even better. It almost looks like marbleized, so how neat is that? Now I just want to finish here with some yellow. And just let it dry. So this is good. So I'm going to let this one dry. And there is one panel. Very, very neat panel. I love this one. The second panel, I'm going to use some of the blues and the purples. And I'm going to add again the background, but this time I'm going to do a little bit of slightly different technique. So I'm just going to add the colors. Some of this pink, okay. And another neat technique to do, instead of doing it with a heat dryer, you can use a straw to cover the background. So it creates really cool effects as well. So I did this technique in the other video as well, but I really wanted to create it on this panel. Now let's add a little bit more blue because I'm missing kind of blue on here. And that is really, really cool. So you can continue adding layers until you get the cool backgrounds. Now, for this one, I am going to use a little bit of a spritzer. This one it's a mini mister and it has the alcohol blending solution in it. And I'm just going to lightly spritz it on top, and it creates very cool splatters in the background. So that will be really neat. So once I added the mini spritzer, that's good. And then what I want to do is I want to splatter some with a paintbrush. So I'm taking this alcohol ink paintbrush and using my palette, which I used for the other video, I'm going to splatter some in the background. So this alcohol ink is already dry, so all I have to do is just reactivate it with some of this really nice alcohol blending solution, and I can always add more alcohol ink here as well. So I'm going to use some of the yellow to create nice splatters in the background. They really look good, and the yellow will look really pretty here. It will add kind of golden tones to this as well. You can also do this with regular alcohol inks or mixatives, and that's really good to do as well. I'm trying to think what else I could do. I think, let's see if we add some splatters here. Actually, I think if we add the gold again, I think it will look really nice. So let's heat set this first. I'm going to spritz it again. So it creates more splatters because they're not really showing that much. And there we go. And now we're going to add the gold again and let it attach itself to all the areas that are wet. So not as many wet areas here, but we can create them. And I'm going to add a few more splatters to this. So I'm going to add more ink. And I'm going to add some of these red splatters. Or maybe even with a bigger paintbrush, I think will work better. Hold on, let me mix some mixative in here. Okay, so I think I have to put some more mixative. It has to be a little bit more liquidy in order for it to work. Because I created these really amazing splatters last time, and I don't know why they're not creating this time. Okay, hold on. And some yellow now. Okay, let's try and see now what happens if I actually put the gold. I just wanted to let it dry a little bit before I put the gold on. So let's add the gold now on top. And again, it's attaching itself in certain areas. Oh wow, that's very cool. As you can see, the splatters really helped. So there we go. That's another background, which I really, really love. I just have to work on the splatters a little bit longer and not be so impatient. And now I'm going to work on the third panel. And for this panel, I think I'm going to go with some greens and blues. Maybe the green, the blue, and a little bit of this brown. And obviously yellow. I think yellow adds to it as well. So let's, I'm trying to think. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create circles. I really love creating circles in the background, but I find that it's really hard to do, to create a circular. Okay, this blue might be clogged a little bit and I don't want to force it too much. So it's going to be this blue instead. So the way to work with circles is that you need to let things dry first. So you do one layer and then you let it dry. Okay, so let this dry first. So now you go again, but it's not really creating circles. I don't know why. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, I think if I just spread this around, it will be easier. So this one is more of a brownish color. I think I should put a little bit of yellow too. So these alcohol panels work beautifully with the alcohol inks. They truly look amazing on. So let me just move this around a little bit. I think I have too much and it's all mixing too much with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a Yupo paper panel. I have these papers from a disc-bound journal and I'm going to just press on them to really take away some of this. I have too much on and it's just mixing too much and I'm not liking it. Okay, so let's finish the background and then I'm going to add circles to this. Let's just do that. So I'm going to fix the background by mixing it all up. So I'm going to mix it all up and then I'm going to add the circles once it's dry. So you'll see what I mean. So I think the way the circles work is that if you actually add them later. So let me heat set this and then I'm going to add a second layer. Okay, so now I am going to add a second layer with these. So they'll start kind of forming these circles on us. Okay, and then if you add a little bit of this solution, it starts reacting again. Okay, there's too much green. I think I should go with the brown. So I keep on working with the different colors until I'm happy with the results. So adding drops here and there. I just love adding color in all different areas. And that's really, it looks really, really pretty. Okay, there we go. So now that's the background that I like. I'm going to heat set a little bit so then I can add the gold. I actually want to add a little bit more yellow to lighten it up a little bit. Okay, there we go. And now we'll heat set it again. Now I will add the gold again to this, and I'm leaving it pretty tacky so it will really attach itself nicely to it. Oh wow, that looks really, really nice. And there we go. Here is the last one. So here are the 3 panels. Here's one, here's the second one, and here's the third one. So 3 different panels. I mean, these are very similar to each other, but this one is totally different. And I love all 3 of them. And now I want to show you what I'm going to do with them. What I did is I took this Simon Says Stamp HAMSA die and I cut it in both the glitter and the black, and I layered them, and I did different type of layering just to show you the difference. I love how it turned out with the gold. The gold glitter that I use, it's a cardstock by Concord and Ninth, but you could also use the one from Tim Holtz if you want and cut it out. And I mean, anything goes, right? And what I'm going to do with these, I'm actually going to frame them in a little 4x4 black frame so I could give them as a gift. I really love these. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm just really excited about these art panels. They are amazing alcohol ink panels and they are so good for alcohol inks. If you want to do gifts or things like that, these are perfect for that. If you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends on social media. For more inspiration, visit me on my website or at my Instagram at Tamir. Thank you so much and have an amazing day. Bye.